This is Radio Free Cybertron with your host, Brian Kilby, featuring Chris, Don, Rob, Diecast, John, and Melvar. For the latest Transformers news and reviews, visit tformers.com.
Hey, this is our Radio Free Cybertron post Toy Fair Hasbro fan press event for Saturday, February 17th. I'm Brian Kilby. With me is Melvar, XV,
Hi.
John DeLuna, Rob Clay, and
Hi.
Diecast, who was on site at the Hasbro event at Toy Fair today. Diecast, are you tired?
I am. Yes.
You look good, but you look tired.
Yes. I saw Black Panther last night, and I got up this morning and jumped on the train.
So we were texting each other as he was waiting for the last scene, and I texted him. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe that Don was in Black Panther in the last scene and he didn't tell us. And
nice.
Yeah, so that's a spoiler for the end credit scene for Black Panther if you get to go see it. Don is in it. No, he's not. So, but yeah, I saw it twice. I saw it Thursday and Friday. I'm pretty tired too. I've been on my butt all day with these guys talking about all the toys coming in from New York at Toy Fair. And I know, Diecast, you said that you are kind of disappointed about everything you saw, but I saw a lot of people who are very satisfied with the news from today.
I mean, what did we see?
Pretty
well,
keen.
there was some good news. I mean, we got the naming of the next trilogy, which is a positive thing. We didn't get to see any of the product. We didn't get it to really see any product that we didn't already know about.
We saw Studio Series toys. I mean, we hadn't seen the Grimlock or Blackout yet, or the Starscream.
We got to see Predaking in full.
Yeah, Predaking in full, which we knew was going to be there, so it wasn't a surprise.
True, but nobody managed to leak the Predacons for us in advance of Toy Fair.
We got to see Abominus.
Who looks great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
The Cyberverse toys, which we got in that news item from a couple days ago, but it was nice to actually see them. And I think they look great for the most part.
They have a neat little gimmick. What did they call it? I tweeted it out and I can't remember. Auto change, I think it was. That was kind of cool. I think they'll be popular.
I hope so.
So I'm going to go ahead and show some, for the people watching the video, I'm going to go ahead and show some photos here. You mentioned the Predacons, and they look nice. I'm not as crazy about Predaking, but I think the individual Predacons look good.
Now the two legs, the whole upper thigh is part of that Predacon. So it's actually either on the back or the underside. If in beast mode, it's on the underside, and then it just kind of flips up, and that becomes the upper part of the thigh, basically.
So now, when you saw this in person, could you get a sense of like how big you thought it was versus, say, Devastator?
I
mean, it was staged fairly close to the Abominus combined form. So how did they look?
I mean, Predaking was bigger.
I'd hope so.
He may be like a head shorter than Devastator, if not same size. I mean, Devastator is bulkier, that's for sure. But that's probably because he's 6 spots instead of 5. So
probably cost less to make, considering they came out a few years ago compared to today. Yeah, that's I'm looking forward to it. It's not my favorite thing from today, but I know that a lot of people are on Facebook at facebook.com/tfradio are reacting very positively.
I liked it. I like the way the individual Predacons look more than I like the way Predaking looks. Just something's a little bit off, but I mean, I still like it. I'm still looking forward to it. I still don't know where I'm going to put it, but I'm going to buy it. So
you're going to put it right next to that Devastator right there.
But then what am I going to do with Unicron?
You'll just have to move Unicron. We're going to get a better one eventually anyway. So
that's the problem. Trypticon's right here.
I love on Twitter today is like, are they going to show Predaking or Unicron? It's going to be Predaking.
So at Wonderfest going on right now in Japan, all they're getting is a gray Predaking to show, not even a color one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Predaking.
We're special.
Looking at that picture, his waist looks rather tiny compared to the rest of the figure.
Michael Turner-esque.
Yeah. Yes, he's got great big hips with a really thin waist.
Midriff showing.
That's also kind of some Bruce Timm hallmarks.
That's true. So let's see here. A toy that actually a lot of people went crazy over was Nova Star.
Yes.
I know that a lot of people commented on how great she looked. And any thoughts on Nova Star Diecast? Did you get a chance to get?
Yeah, the first thing I thought was a female hot rod.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But I don't know who Nova Star is. So if anyone
go,
well, she was only in one episode of the
cartoon. Yeah, go watch the Search for Alpha Trion.
Yeah.
And on the back of her card, you'll get one sentence that tell you something.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're lucky, it will even be a complete sentence.
Yeah, but they can't use the name because of Marvel.
Yeah.
So they had to use Nova Star, which is fine.
That's actually the figure I talked to Mark Weber about it. The last BotCon, I believe, I was spitballing him ideas for names to rename Firestar.
And then he left.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't want to do that.
He was like, I don't want to talk to these people anymore. They're crazy.
Going to Mattel. Moonracer looks great too, but I think Nova Star looks better.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
I think the biggest disappointment overall was probably Optimal Optimus and the little Optimus Primal.
You think?
Yeah.
Really? I hated that.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It looks fine to me.
Yeah, I mean I feel like the backpackiness of the small Optimus on Optimal Optimus is not ideal, but it's not terrible.
Let me see if I can find a photo of the small Optimus. Right now on the video, I'm showing the render. I know a lot of people just did not like the look of.
Yeah, I put all Diecast photos on T-Former, so you should be able to flip through them there.
It looks okay. It looked okay to me.
The image from the back where he's just a plank stuck on the back of the larger robot.
Well,
yeah, I'm pretty sure that should be folded up.
I agree. I looked at the what do they call those photos that Hasbro releases?
The promotional renders.
Yeah, and that does not have the robot hanging off the back like that, because you can clearly see his waist through to the background. So
yeah.
Although they could have just forgot to include those elements in the render too. That's been known to happen.
Although Ben Montana was offering free water to anyone that found a transformer that was transformed on the table, and he assured us that there was none.
Did you say free water?
Free water.
Wow, that
bottles
was
of Hasbro.
Generous.
Prison?
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you have to do to get some bread?
Yeah.
I don't know.
How about a blanket? Maybe.
So
the great chest in robot mode is the problem for me with Optimal Optimus.
So,
that's one of those where it's like, oh man, if we had a Legends coming, I wouldn't sweat it. But we don't. So
on the Optimus Primal, the shoulders have the code on them. Is that just like a serial?
It's a prototype.
Yeah, I figured it's a serial number so that if somebody stole it.
Yeah, they put that on everything.
A lot of them had that. I was surprised. Even like the Predaking, not Predaking.
Abominus?
The Abominus figures, the Terracons, they all had, except for like the one we're getting, Ripper Snapper, they all had those numbers on them. So, and they all looked like hand painted, and which I was surprised. I thought by then they would have the production of them like to display, but
you would think.
Well, these are the same ones they've been carting around from show to show for a couple of weeks now. So.
I think so. Yeah, they haven't gotten any new
You could see it in one of the pictures. Somebody took a picture of Center Twin, and you could see where the paint was rubbing off in spots.
I was trying to get a bunch of good pictures of Blot because that's the one Brian was really interested in.
Big nose monster.
Blot
Just
looks
the
amazing.
way he was sitting there, it was like there was other figures in the way. It was hard to get a good shot of him.
I think you managed to do a good job, though. I saw a couple of good pictures in there, and he looks fantastic.
Yeah, I'm excited.
The other thing, Instagram is one of those where it was my first time using it, and it didn't really want to let me zoom. I would have to zoom after I took the picture.
Yeah.
So a lot of those are just unzoomed because
I didn't notice, honestly. In fact, I think I think your photos actually came out really good. And what I love about the way we're using Instagram is, as I pointed out to you, it's actually more efficient because it goes to Twitter and to Facebook at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You're covering 3 times the amount of places.
And so, I mean, honestly, one of the reasons we like going is because it gets a lot of play on Twitter and everything. And the fact that you were using Instagram instead of Twitter natively in no way affected the amount
Twitter.
of retweets and everything that
the only difference I could tell was that the pictures that were going to Twitter were smaller than if they had been posted directly.
Yeah, which is fine.
I think Anthony was somehow doing it the opposite way because his photos kept going to his Instagram upside down, which was really strange.
Yeah.
I looked at him and I'm like, why are your photos upside down?
Hey guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just retweeted a picture of Abominus from Wonder Festival, and it does not look hand painted.
Yeah, you seem to be correct about that. But again, like,
that might be the Abominus.
Hasbro's carrying around the same samples.
Yeah,
they had to show these in both places today, so they would have had to prepare some other samples to do the other show.
Yeah, because
Hasbro already had custody of the hand-painted ones, so...
Yeah, somebody did point out that also the one still has Wildfly's head, so that's...
Yeah, that's the Hasbro display one.
Yeah, just from the look of the head sticking out of the appropriate leg on this Abominus, I'm pretty sure it is the correct mold in this case, because it's a lot more square looking.
There's a picture of Elita at Wonderfest, and it looks like it's not wearing any stickers in robot mode.
Oh, that would be nice.
Oh, no,
I see Nitro, the Nitro Zeus repaint as Thundercracker. That was supposed to be on display apparently, but I don't think they could find it. So that's why we don't have any photos of that, because we only saw it in the presentation.
That was driving Eric nuts. Eric Crownover. He kept going, where are the pictures of Thundercracker? I need the pictures of Thundercracker. Can anybody find me pictures on Twitter of Thundercracker?
Yeah, that makes sense if it was Skywarp. He just teleports away, but I don't know where Thundercracker got to.
So, from the presentation, one of the big questions that everybody had was about this War for Cybertron thing, which looks like it's going to be the successor to Power of the Primes.
Yes.
What kind?
No. It. Power of the because it's the trilogy.
Well, yes, it's the
after
Power
of
the
the
Primes
ends, the War for Cybertron
begins.
Starts.
Yeah,
yes,
so
it is the successor line.
So would that
be Prime Wars trilogy?
With that being the case, though, what kind of language was used? I mean, obviously, it's not about the video game series, but you can tell a lot of times where they're going just by the kind of words they use. Like, what vibe did you get from them when they were talking about that?
At one point, and I really want to listen to the interview again, just to...
Which will be posted as a separate podcast at tfradio.net.
But I thought they said... It was one of those things that went by so quick. I was like, wait, did they just say that? And I thought they said, and I could be wrong, that it was a reimagination of G1 with the stories being now see, I twisted it in my head again, but it was either like stories being retold or new stories of G1. It was something to do around G1, which is probably why they had the I Love 84 shirts on.
Stories of the 84 characters before G1, possibly.
possibly that.
So it's going to be interesting. So if this is stuff that predates More Than Meets the Eye, that means that we can't get Dinobots. It means we may or may not get Constructicons based on which origin they decide to follow.
Which of the three?
Which of the three?
We could get that Omega Supreme, though.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes, we could.
And a Robo Smasher.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Still no bot.
They want this to be kind of a new thing, which is why they said like this last series was kind of like really like they wanted to get the toy aspect of G1, and I did ask about the stickers, and it sounds like they're going to be going away for this next trilogy because it's going to be a new reimagining.
So question, so they wore these 80 the 84 shirts. How were they described again?
It was I and a red Transformers Autobot symbol.
Did it look like something
supposed to be the heart?
Did it look,
I heart 84.
Did it look like something they did one off for the event, or did it look like something that was contrived for something more?
I mean, there were enough of them wearing it that it was specifically for this event. Now, whether that this is going to be a theme going on, I don't know. I
just wonder because at BotCon or wherever it was a few years ago, we saw that Titans Return, the Titans Return graphics used, intentionally or not, but they were used on the trade dress that the Hasbro booth had. I was just curious if this might be another hint at something like that going forward.
I think it is a hint towards the new trilogy.
Interesting,
because I think a lot of people were, speculating that, well, are we going to get away from the 84 stuff?
Never.
And I think the answer is no.
Iconic.
But here's the thing. So if it predates More Than Meets the Eye, that means we get no more terrestrial modes of anything.
I don't know that it predates. I'd like to listen to the interview again. I think they said it's a reimagining or a new storytelling of G1.
Just the title of the trilogy, War for Cybertron, is kind of leading us all to believe that it's solely everything Cybertronian based forms.
Yeah.
Yes. Somebody somewhere along the way said they called out Tetrajets as being one of the elements of that.
Now, someone said I did hear Tetrajets while I was there. In passing, someone was talking about something, but I couldn't say who was in the conversation.
So I haven't listened to the interview that you recorded yet. So unfortunately, I'm ill-informed when it comes to the material in there, so I can't ask you anything based on it. But just based on what we heard, Tetrajets, War for Cybertron. So it sounds, we inferred that meant basically like potentially ancient Cybertronian stuff that was referenced like in War Dawn or like in season 3 whenever Rodimus would take a trip into the Matrix. But you didn't get any vibe or anything like that from what they said.
In a way, I got a vibe that this was what was this trilogy called?
Prime Wars trilogy.
Prime Wars trilogy, but it was very Earth-based, and now they're done with Earth and they're moving on to Cybertron.
I'm done with Earth too.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you looked around lately.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. So we also saw Cyberverse, what were your impressions of that from what you saw in hand or in person?
I didn't spend a lot of time over there. I took a couple photos. I mean, they're okay. It's funny they're using the Ultra class again because they're gonna be bigger than the Warrior class. And then there's also like a Leader class that they're gonna have, but it's not called Leader. It's called something else. Ultimate.
Yeah, we noticed that the names of the price points for Cyberverse are distinctly different, but basically equivalent to what like Generations has.
Yeah, so I mean, the stuff looked okay. It's your basic first wave. It's got Bumblebee. It's got Prime. It's got.
Boy, does it have Bumblebee!
Yeah, boy.
I mean, there was Bumblebee stuff all over just because of the movie and
beehives, far as you can see.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Bumblebee is honestly their favorite character right now. It's
sadness.
I think he's surpassed Prime.
What about your exposure to the studio series? What did you think about that? Reactions, again, very positive, especially with that Grimlock. People love that Grimlock.
I love that Grimlock. I think we saw that in leaks or heard about that in leaks.
We'd heard about it, but this is definitely, if there were any leaked images, this is much clearer. I don't think we had a sense of how different it was from the Age of Extinction molds before now.
Yeah. One thing specifically, the blackout struck me. The vehicle was, the helicopter mode was very large. And the leader blackout was not that, it didn't seem that big. I mean, it's definitely seemed bigger than a Voyager, but it didn't seem huge. Like, I'm thinking like Revenge of the Fallen, or not Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, Ironhide, which I have sitting on my shelf that I'm staring at now. And he is a really big leader.
Yeah, that was a leader toy developed, in 2010 for release in like early 2012 or whatever. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Like when I look at the MPM Ironhide they had there, I'm like, man, he's stubby and fat compared to what I have on my shelf.
Yes, but that makes it so the fans can relate to him more easily.
That's true. But yeah, the movie stuff looked great. We're getting a Megatron, that's a Voyager. We're getting Prime, that's a Voyager. We're getting a Starscream Voyager and a Brawl Voyager. And the Brawl was one of those that it's like, it almost felt like a little bit bigger than a Deluxe, but not as big as a Voyager to me. And that just may be the way it was on the shelf. I'm looking at a lot of toys at once instead of actually picking one up and just focusing on that one toy.
So, you're tired. I think we're all tired. Any questions for Diecast?
I'm fine.
Well, you don't sleep.
Yeah, I'm good.
Any questions for Diecast before we wrap this?
Well, I do want to ask about something that Don just put in our Skype chat, because he's apparently looking at his Skype, even though he can't actually be on the call with us.
He's recording another podcast.
What do you think about that there was apparently a Sailor Moon pregnancy test released to retail in Japan, Diecast?
I think I don't even know what to think about that.
It's rare that we get the Brian face palm.
I guess cannot even process that word salad.
Yeah. Thanks, Don, wherever you are.
Are they having like a teen pregnancy issue, and that's why they're like? What?
Well, not anymore. Have you heard about their declining birth rates?
So, making some sausage here. We're in the chat talking with John about potential things that Hasbro could license in the future, and John is convinced 100% that adult diapers will someday be sold with 80s characters on them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
I agree. I agree too.
Yeah, and
because we want
those silver.
I have adult underoos.
Yeah, a little earlier, Kilby suggested, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but Transformers branded hemorrhoid cream, which I think they could cross-brand as like Corostop, which was the substance from Cosmic Rust.
Yes. Yeah, so.
But no, the only question I have, because I'm just curious how this is all going to work together, is I saw in Anthony's notes from his part of the interview that they said there would be more Authentics figures. Did they mention that they were going to be in the same like budget family or some other like branch of that line of Evergreen products?
It sounded like Evergreen is budget.
Okay.
When they say evergreen, it's like it's a Bumblebee, it's a Prime, it's a Megatron, it's a all the stuff.
And they did use the language evergreen.
They did.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's basically all it is. It's dollar store stuff. I don't want to say dollar store, but like
it's dollar store stuff.
We used to call it market stuff. We used to call it Market 6. That was the terminology Hasbro had for it way back when. But
I like that.
The retail structure, the retail space has changed so much that it's far more complicated than Market 6 even being a thing anymore.
I just like a code for it, so we don't have to stay like cheap or dollar or just.
Yeah, I mean, what this is aimed at is definitely the kind of thing we called Market 6 back in like the Armada universe days.
So when you look at Dollar General, for example, there are 13,000 Dollar General stores in the United States.
Right.
So that's far more than Target. I guess it's more than Walmart too. So.
And it's the same reason that Hasbro is trying to get like significant entry into Walgreens.
Yeah.
Because there's tons and tons of them everywhere too. It's a good marketplace to get into if you can make product for it.
That's where
if they are willing to go out on a limb and support the product you're already making.
So I just had a genius idea. That's who we need to market the podcast to.
I kind of thought you were going there.
Yes, so let's figure that out. Any other questions for Diecast before we wrap it up? I guess not.
Oh, did you have those Krispy Kreme jelly beans?
No, I did have Krispy Kreme, but not not jelly beans.
Was the Krispy Kreme good?
It was okay.
He's a Dunkin' Donuts guy.
No, I like Krispy Kreme donuts.
But you love the coffee at Dunkin'.
Yeah, I love Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
I don't think anybody holds up Krispy Kreme as being there for the coffee.
Well,
yeah,
I don't know.
Okay, one last question. Again, from Anthony's notes about that, what I'm pretty sure is the same interview as yours.
Yeah.
He seemed to say that Power of the Primes is pretty much done, except for a few exclusives that hadn't been announced as of yet. Is that about what you remember them saying?
Yeah. Power of the Primes Deluxe Wave will end at 4, and it sounds like their Leader Wave will end at 3. And they did not mention like the Legend scale or anything like that, but Deluxe is done at 4 and Leaders are done at 3, definitely.
Yeah, and that fits with what we had in the leak from last year, so it's safe to assume that the other price points are also ending at 3. Deluxe was the only thing called out as having 4 in that document as well.
Yeah, just to speculate for a second, I have a feeling they're trying to make sure that the War for Cybertron trilogy is something that starts for the 35th anniversary next year.
Well, it's slated for January, which means we'll get product by
in December or maybe even
October?
November.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so like we got Power of the Primes first wave stuff starting about halfway through November, which was, to the best any of us could remember, the earliest that the next year's product started hitting stores in the US. But December is a more reliable bet. It's more consistent with the behavior we've observed over the years.
Although it sounds like they're ready to push this stuff, like there was a feeling of, yes, this is the end of the Power of the Primes, but we're going to come at you hard with the beginning of the next series.
They may also want to do this too, because they were talking about in the pre-Toy Fair investor call or something, the same thing where they said that like the Bumblebee movie is going to be like the centerpiece of their new brand structure blueprint thing. It makes sense they'd want to start the next iteration of Generations to coincide with that too, to not have that lag behind.
And it was also nice.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I was just going to say it's probably all a coordinated thing for transitioning into the 35th anniversary year, which, as McFeely points out, is kind of an odd one to really latch onto. But
they every 5 years, the 5, the 5s and the 0s are what they get excited about. But one thing I did want to mention that I think we talked about in pre-show. was the HasLab. Is that what they're calling it? HasLab?
HasLab, yeah.
We were, because they said it was possible that it could open up into other brands, and we were joking about a Unicron. And then Anthony also had a suggestion of the 84 Arc as a playset, but they were asking us how big we would want Unicron, and I was just like, keep going, keep going, make it big. But yeah, I mean, if they're willing to do a $500 Black Series,
I don't think you would get. I don't think
that's
even
just
with
a play set, though. Engineering something to transform would be completely different.
I don't think even with the HasLab setup, I don't think they would push the price point that far for Transformers fans, because they know what Star Wars fans will pay for things.
Yeah,
like you can tell that just based on the stuff they actually push out to stores.
But Unicron, if they ever did, and I'm not saying that they would do this as a HasLab thing, but if they ever did, you know, they have that mold for 2-3 years down the line when Amazon wants to do a repainted exclusive, or you know, it's possible that we could see that mold reused. It's possible we could see the Titans Devastator reused. I mean,
they should.
I think if they ever pushed HasLab into the Transformers realm, I think, like, optimistically, the price would probably cap out about $250, like probably half of what they would risk on Star Wars product.
And I'd be fine with that. I think that would be a good price point for a Unicron.
Or whatever they might decide to try to do through that mechanism.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guys, thank you very much. Diecast, you did a great job today. And
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Our live stream crew, you did as well.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Okay. Everybody out there, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you later. And make sure you download the interview that Diecast recorded at Toy Fair. We'll see you later.
Bye. This has been Radio Free Cybertron. Visit us at tfradio.net for show notes and to subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on Twitter at tfradio for news and updates. Watch our live stream at tfradio.net/live. Join our Facebook fan page at facebook.com/tfradio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, TF Radio Network. Have a question or comment? Leave it on our Facebook fan page or mail it to contact@tfradio.net. This podcast is released under a Creative Commons license. Any part of this podcast can and should be redistributed, but please, proper attribution is required if you know what's good for you.
Transformers. It's better than crack.